Hello and welcome to another video from Sustenance and Cover, the only channel you need to not only survive the current apocalypse but actually enjoy it. And today's little video is about maintaining your loppers, because in a sustainable society, loppers and a shovel is about the two main tools you'll always be using, and very good survival tool. The loppers that I own are all what's called bypass loppers, and I don't know how good you can see this in the video, but they're called bypass loppers because the top jaw bypasses the bottom jaw. Now another type of lopper that they sell is called an Anvil Lopper, and in that arrangement you've actually got the bottom jaw, which is an anvil, a solid piece, and the top just comes right down on top of that anvil. Those are really only good for cutting dry, dead wood. 99.9% of everything you cut in the forest will be live wood and requires bypass loppers. Just trust me on this. If you ever try to do it backwards from the way it's supposed to be done, you'll see a big difference. But in any case, this pair is simple loppers. Just got one bolt, and the only mechanical advantage you have is the length of your lever, which is the handles. However, a more common thing nowadays is getting to be these loppers that not only have the leverage incorporated in the handles, but also have a mechanical advantage built into the jaws themselves. This one here is geared, and it advertises that it cuts 3 times easier. These are Fiskars, and I do not believe I will ever buy another type of loppers again. I'll buy more loppers, but they'll all be Fiskars. They just happen to be real high quality stuff. Now, for convenience, I've already disassembled this pair we're going to be working on. When you disassemble your loppers, you're going to have grease packed onto here from last year, and you're going to have to get all that off of there before you can work on these things. So I take a sponge with some dish detergent and scrub them good. Now, my original intention when I started this video was for me to simply work on my loppers while my wife filmed me. But I have very, very poor vision. You cannot do this with sunglasses on. And in fact, I have to change out between glasses and no glasses. And I wasn't quite ready to give up my secret identity, and so I was not prepared to remove my cowboy suit, or even just part of it, my sunglasses. So anyhow, something else you're going to need to work on these is waterproof sandpaper. I think you can just get this at Walmart. It's what body shops use. And the whole point of it is, while you're sanding, you're spraying water so the water is cleaning out the area between the grits. With dry sandpaper, you'd have to go through 100 sheets to do anything. This here, one sheet will do a lot of work. But in any case, we've already disassembled our loppers, and I've got the blade off. That's the only thing you're really going to have to work with. Now, what tends to happen with loppers over time is they start warping. So your blades, instead of coming together like this, or coming together like this, or coming together like that, they'll bend so that you're not getting a clean cut anymore. Here's what you do. Take you a straight edge. And it doesn't have to be a fancy stainless steel one like this, but you need a straight edge. And you simply put the edge against your teeth and just move it around the blade to see if it's straight. Now this one here is straight because I've already done this. Like I said, I had to do this with my glasses and all. And so I'm just going to show you what you have to do. When you're straightening one of these, you're going to need a heavy-duty block of wood and a ball peen hammer. Simply find the high points, set down your anvil or your cutter, and whack it wherever it's high. You have to whack it hard. You can't do it like I just did. And in fact, if you got a big bend in it, you actually need to have 2 pieces of wood. Space them so that you got a clearance underneath, and then whack it. And that's just the first part. The next thing you're going to have to do is called peening. P-E-E-N-I-N-G. And that comes from this. This is a ball peen hammer. This end is a ball. This end is a peen. And you're going to be hitting it with that peen. But for this, you're going to need something metal to strike against. And first thing I'll do when I'm peening is I'll make sure this is super clean. A little bit of detergent. Scrub it again. Make sure everything is clean from your last little encounter when you were trying to straighten it. And another thing, I always only do this about once a year, and I don't keep oil on my this is just a body block. So I always, every year I have to sand that a little bit just to get it smoothed out enough to do this. And the same thing with my ball peen hammer, just sand that a little bit just to get it smooth. And what you're going to do when you're striking this, the reason you peen something isn't to straighten it. The peening is just to get that edge right. You'll look at it and you'll see nicks and actual bends and kinks in your cutting edge. So what you're going to do is, and this is why you have to have good eyesight. You'll set it down and you're not hitting it straight up and down. You're kind of hitting it with glancing blows. And I'm not going to do that on this because I've already done it. But you'll be just going along like that, and you'll check, get you a good background, do it some more, and it may take 5 minutes. It ain't a real big deal, but you get it all straight. One more time, put a little detergent on it, and be careful because you can cut yourself on this, especially this one because I've already sharpened it. Once you got that done, just reach over and grab you one of these. This is a newfangled type of knife sharpener that they got. And, you know, there's guys that use files and use whetstones. I just get this thing right here. And always, the safest way to do this is put your cutting edge down with the cutting edge up. But put the blade down with the cutting edge up and just drag across it. You won't have to drag across it too much. These things are really efficient at sharpening. Man, that's so sharp. I guess there's folks that'll shave just to show you how sharp they can get one of these. Shave with it, but none of my trees need shaving, so we won't be doing that. But in any case, get it dry. And put everything back together. And I'm actually going to show you how I do this because there's something unique. These things here, you do not want to lose your screws because every screw or bolt that you use on one of these is unique. They don't exist anywhere else. If you lose one, you cannot go to the hardware store and get it. This one actually has a third bolt on it, and that is just a register that goes into a slot on the other handle. But the first thing you're going to do is to put your blade, and they're all a little bit different. And if you notice, this one here is actually flat, and then it's got a square edge that holds it steady. You put it in the hole there. Might have to tap it in with a hammer if it's really tight. Wait, that ain't the right one. And another thing you need to know is that the washer, they'll always have a washer on something. The washer does not go on the head of the bolt. It goes on the nut. So once your shaft is through there, you put your washer on, then you put the nut on. And these nuts will always have a side that they're all going to be some kind of a locking deal, which means that you're going to have to put them so that the locking part is out. And every one of them is going to be a little bit different. You will need to kind of keep your bolts separate from everything else. That way it makes it easier to figure things out later, because if you put it in a box with a whole bunch of different bolts, you may find yourself in some trouble. Okay, and that just slides in there like that. They're all going to be a little bit different though. And then we're going to put this right on here. Line everything up. Got our last nut going on, washer. Okay, come on now. Once you get started, it's pretty easy. And I'm going to show you on these, I don't know if you can see this with this low definition, but one side of the nut is crimped where it's pressed on with a, a big hydraulic press so that it doesn't come off. And in fact, these are not made to be put on and taken off. As time goes on, they'll start slipping, and you'll have to keep a wrench in your pocket when you go to use your loppers. But for the most part, if you get into that situation, you can just buy a little bit of what's called Loctite and put on there and save yourself a lot of trouble. I could be putting it on here now, but I don't think it'll be necessary. When it starts slipping, I'll head down to Walmart and ask somebody that works hardware where they keep their Loctite. I guess they'd have it there. If they don't have it there, then I'll have to go to Auto Pot store. Now, as you tighten these down, you're going to find that most of them will simply, once you torque them, they're set. But some of them, if you tighten them all the way down, you won't be able to work the loppers because you have to set the adjust for how tight you want them. And see, these still work even when they're pretty well tightened all the way. See if you can do this. This nut here is kind of crowned. It's like an acorn nut with a hole in the center of it, and that goes on the outside. On this one here, you see it's also crowned like an acorn nut, and you'll see little slots for crimping it or for holding in the lock. And this one here, hopefully you can see that, it's got little crimps in it, and those crimps go on the outside. Once you're done with that, just put a little oil on it. And for me, I mean, you can use just plain old vegetable oil or burnt motor oil. It don't make any difference. Just get it on there and work them a little bit. Put some down in here. And keep a rag. For me, where's my rag at? This is my napkin that was wiping gravy out of my beard yesterday, but it's shot, it's full of holes, time to throw it away. And once I use a rag for oiling up a tool, just put it in the trash. It ain't worth trying to clean up unless you got a place for storing oily rags. But oil will accumulate metal filings and everything else. And once it does that, you're just wiping rust on your stuff. So, that's it. Loppers, you got to take care of them or replace them. If you use these things every day, you'll have to replace your loppers every month. But if you can do this, what I just did, you can keep the same pair of loppers forever, and it'll always cut just like it's new. That's it. If you don't want to survive, don't listen to me.